Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I hope everyone had a good month of April. I know that I'm looking forward to the month of May. And I also came up with this idea, and I really am looking forward to seeing if you all are interested in sharing recipes that are either passed down from your mothers, your grandmothers, even grandfathers or dads, that you've been dying to perfect in the kitchen. I've been hearing from a lot of you that there's these recipes that you've been finally getting around to and wanting to bake or cook in the kitchen, and something is going wrong every time. And I figured this would be a good opportunity to make tutorial videos that I would share on my social media platforms, and for you all to refer back to and to benefit you during this time when we're in quarantine, and even in the future you can refer back to. So let me know what you think of that idea, and please, if you are, share those recipes with me, either that through Messenger in Facebook or Instagram, even YouTube in the comment section, or Facebook in the comment section. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you all come up with, and to see if we can begin something that could be very helpful in your kitchens. So today I'm actually doing pizza. I figured, since I've been getting a lot of questions about yeast, when you're making bread, a lot of people are making homemade bread right now, which is really awesome to hear. But some people, their things are not going right when it comes to when the bread is rising. And the reason why may be because when you were either activating your yeast during that process, something, either the water is not too hot or too cold, you're not letting it steep long enough, and those may be a few of the factors that happen. And I'm going to walk you through all those different steps that make sure that you can get a nice pizza dough. So I have my warm water, and you want your water between 110 degrees and 130 degrees. You can get the hottest water that you can get out of your tap, or you can just bring some water to not even a simmer, just to heat it up a little bit, or even microwave it. And you can use your thermometer to make sure that it's between that 110 and 130. You want to make sure that you have enough heat to activate the yeast, but you don't want it too hot where it will actually kill the yeast. Okay, so then and you see that I have a towel wrapped around my bowl, because I don't want any type of coldness from the surface that your bowl is resting on to actually cool the water where it's not going to activate your yeast. So you just want to make sure that your yeast is in a stable environment where it's gonna become alive. So I'm just gonna take my fingers, and they look like little pellets, and you just want to make sure that they're completely dissolved into the water. Just like so. I'll show you. This one. And it's gonna be like kind of looks like an oat milk or almond milk consistency in color. Okay. Now I'm gonna add my salt, and salt is another type of ingredient that will kill your yeast. So I always make sure that you put a pinch in, and that should be plenty, just to add a little bit of flavor into that yeast. And then next I add like a teaspoon of sugar, and sugar actually feeds your yeast. So it's actually a great ingredient to use. Just add a little bit of sweetness and to help feed your yeast, to make sure that it's activated correctly. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my flour, and I also have my hand mixer that has my dough hooks attached to it. The reason why you would rather have a dough hook than an actual paddle or a whisk is because, for one, you're creating a ball of dough. So when you do make doughs, you would like for it to climb up the hook of the appliance that you're using, because that is an indication that it's ready to come out of the bowl and be knead. All right, so I'm gonna add flour until my dough comes together. I'm gonna add 2 cups to start out. I'm gonna incorporate that and then we'll go from there. I'm adding another cup, so this is 2 cups to 5 cups flour so far. The thing about pizza dough is that you don't have to let it rise as long, because you're not looking for a super fluffy texture. You want to simply have the perfect density of the right amount of crispiness, and then also a little bit of like softness to your dough. All right, so it's kind of sticky. Make sure you have your flour next to you. And I'm kneading it inside of the bowl just to have less of a mess. And if the dough is sticking to your fingers, just get some more flour and scrape it off your fingers. Should be nice and warm, your dough. Shouldn't be cool or anything.
Yeah, I got a full load.
Sorry, that's my sister again. All right. Here's your pizza dough. See how it's a little sticky, so add a little bit more flour, but it should be perfect. I'm just gonna dust it real quick just to get it off my hand. All right, there you go. If you can't tell, I love working with dough. It's one of my favorite things, I think, to cook. Because it's all about, when you make a ball of dough, it's all about the texture. And it's kind of like a craft. You want to create the right texture, especially with the different recipes that you make doughs for. And it can be sort of a challenge too, so that's why I enjoy making dough. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up in the towel, and I'm gonna put it actually in my oven at 170 degrees, and I'm going to leave the door cracked open a little bit, and that just makes sure that it's in an environment that it's going to be warm, and that yeast is going to take advantage of that warm environment, and it's just going to make your dough nice and risen. And I don't know if any of you knew this, but that drawer underneath your ovens is actually meant for proofing bread. And so maybe you can get all of your pots and pans that you use it for storage and actually place your dough in there for a good environment. So you don't have to worry about warming up your oven and possibly putting it in a heated environment where it's actually going to kill your yeast. So it's a perfect balance between the right amount of heat and you know, the least amount of heat. So, all right, and I'll get back with you. I say about 10-15 minutes. All right, it has risen. So, as you see, look how beautiful. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna punch it like this, and that will deflate the dough. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it out. Right. All right, so now I have two different type of toppings. This one is kind of controversial, and it's one of my favorite toppings, and no need to judge. I know there's enough judgment in this world, so save that. I don't need it. I love pineapple, guys. It's one of my favorite toppings, and that is going to be on this pizza. And then for the second one, I'm going to actually put some fresh mozzarella and some basil and olive oil and oregano, and we'll call it a day. All right, so I have one of my favorite pizza sauces. If you could guess what it is, of course, my family's recipe La Rosa's. You can buy any type of pizza sauce that you like, or you can make your own pizza sauce. Okay, so I'm just gonna ladle, and I use a ladle because I feel like it's more consistent when you apply it to your dough. Or you can use the back of a measuring cup. That also works. Okay. Now I have my fresh mozzarella. You can use whatever cheese you like. Provolone. It's another great one. 4 cheese blend, 3 cheese blend. Your choice. Just make sure it's equally distributed. I put about a cup on for this size of pizza. This is like about 8 to 10 inches in diameter. Okay, and now got my cheese on. Like that. I'm going to do my pineapple. So this is just canned pineapple. I'm just going to slice them like this in half, and then canned pineapple, I see it most convenient, but you can use fresh pineapple too. Gosh, I love pineapple. I don't understand why people hate on it on top of your pizza. But I also love sweetness in my pizza. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Oh. I won't judge your favorite topping either, okay? All right, that should be enough. Now this will go into the oven. I preheat it for 425 for about 10-15 minutes. And you have yourself your homemade pizza. So Well, another thing I like to do with my pizza, after it's done cooking at the 425 for about 10-15 minutes, I like to put on the broiler on high so you get that nice crispy, you know, cheese layer on top. Yum! Okay, now I'm gonna do the oregano, fresh basil, and fresh mozzarella. Paper you can also lightly grease with a paper towel, with any type of oil you like, just to make sure that your crust doesn't stick. I'm gonna grab my dough, kept it nice and warm. Look how much higher it raised. That means that we activated the yeast correctly. So, super happy about that. So I'm gonna repunch it. Ooh. It is good to deflate it. That was a hard punch, Angie. Got a little crazy there. All right, so I'm gonna take it out like this. So what I did too, once it raised for the first 15 minutes in the oven, I took it out at the 170 with it, the door vented so it doesn't get too hot. And then I kept the bowl wrapped in a towel for another 10 minutes as I made the other pizza. So I made 2 doughs. And so while that was happening, I had it wrapped up, and that's when it raised the, that's when it officially doubled in size. And that's what I like to look for when I know that the indication to know that the dough is ready is when the dough doubles in size. Usually it reaches to the rim of the bowl. If you're not an expert at tossing pizza dough, it's okay. You can just press it out into the pan. Now I'm just putting some oil on the edges just to get that nice and crisp. And instead of just making this a fresh mozzarella, basil, and oregano, I actually stuffed crust. All right, now that goes in the oven, 425. My word. There's our beautiful stuffed crust pizza. You can tell I love pizza. All right. Hopefully you can see her. All right, so that is a wrap. There's our beautiful pizza. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.